First Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Kol Halo Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that look like those heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone, coming at you with a quick lesson. And going back to last week, I believe it was Thursday, Friday, they were talking about peace talks on the 19th and the 20th. Even on that Saturday, by Sunday night, Monday night, those peace talks were tossed out the window with an attack from the Israelis. So I'm gonna let a little bit of this video play. This is Danny Hafong on his show, and he's got Gadi and the rapper, the Ishmaelite rapper Low Key out of Britain as guest on his show. Speakers. Low Key is also an activist. He's probably been more of an activist as of lately, as he hasn't really been laying down bars and doing rap. He's got a decent flow. I actually have his album on one of them old iPods that I have. He wasn't that bad. But nevertheless, without any further ado, Danny Hafong.
First, talk about, of course, the just massive airstrikes that Israel is conducting right now in Lebanon. There were reports that there were about 80 airstrikes in a 30-minute period. There's so many different reports about how many people have been killed, but women, children, so many have been killed. Some are saying 300, some are saying between 100 and 300. But it is a massive campaign. Of course, Hezbollah is striking deeper and deeper into so-called Israeli territory as well in retaliation. But
notice he said so-called Israeli territory, and Danny Hafong is from that part of the world. He's from Asia, and he refers to Israel, Lebanon, and Turkey. He refers to it as Western Asia, as it has always been up until about the late 1800s. All right, when all of a sudden it became the Middle East and Middle Eastern people. No.
But this follows up a number of escalations, including the horrific device attack, as it's being called by some, pagers and walkie-talkies and phones, even solar panels going off in Lebanon. I wanted to start with you, Khadi. Could you talk about the state of the resistance right now? I want to start from that perspective, because there have been some who are watching this who are feeling quite, I think, deflated, but there's also an element, too, where Israel has these very particular objectives, very aggressive objectives, leading what seems to be to an all-out war in Lebanon. Could you talk about the state of the resistance?
So this man, Bibi Milkowski, also known as Netanyahu, he's went and started another war in a whole different place now. You have to understand, I killed the sound just letting the video play, but just for background. But this guy needs a perpetual war because he's a fugitive from justice. And if the war stops, he has to actually go to court and face the wrath of his people. You got to remember, the Israeli citizens do not want this man in office. They don't want him in power. And Bibi Milkowski, also known as Netanyahu, is leading the Israeli occupiers, colonials he's leading them into this third world war, and he's also going. And the least of the flock is drawing out the rest. Prophecy is being fulfilled. This is Jeremiah 50 and 45, and it reads, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon his purposes, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." So, the least of the flock are the Israelis. They're the smallest amount of people on the planet. They're not the people of the Lord, because Israel cannot be named, cannot be numbered. We're so plentiful. All right. Especially when you count those of us that are spread among the heathen that look like the heathen. The Israel got scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people. Among all people. So you can't identify us by, like the way you can typically identify everyone else, right? We're going to look different, we're going to have different blood types, all that, okay? And the Lord's going to gather us up out of those heathens, that's basically what the Bible's all about. But to get the regathering of the Israelites, and then the destruction of the hills and the mountains and the hills being the current government structures that are ruling, right? And the Lord's going to set up the house of David, which is the 144,000 under the authority of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly and fraudulently calls Jesus Christ. All right. Especially that J word, that word means earth pig. Do some research. But the least of the flock is drawing people into this third world war. I'm gonna play this video that my betrothed sent me.
Contact goes high, cover. Breaking news coming out today, September the 23rd, 2024. In just the past hour, as we are hearing the Pentagon, the Department of Defense for the United States, they are confirming that they are going to be sending additional troops to the Middle East in preparations for escalation and violence. Our troops are heading over there. Take a look. More headlines coming out. This one coming out from the Associated Press says U.S. is sending more troops to the Middle East as violence rises between Israel and Hezbollah. And take a look at this, the live feeds. Israel strikes Hezbollah targets as conflict intensifies. We are seeing the video footage, and even right now as we speak, there are blasts, there are attacks, missiles, bombs going off. Absolutely incredible. They are saying this is escalating to all-out war, and like I shared with you, the United States for quite some time throughout this conflict over almost the past year has been saying, we believe we can come to some sort of diplomatic resolution. We believe this will de-escalate. We are on the brink of a potential negotiation agreement to release hostages, to stop the fighting, and now we are hearing that over the weekend this has all changed. Ever since the pager and walkie-talkie attacks and then the bombings that took place, now the United States has told its citizens, get out now, evacuate. We believe we are on the brink of all-out war and escalation. The United States pledging their allegiance to Israel as we are going to be entering into war. And like I said, the headlines coming out right now, the U.S. is sending over troops to the Middle East as violence rises. Breaking news coming out.
So there you go, that control narrative, the West wants to call it the Middle East, when the people who live there have been there all along, refer to it as Western Asia. That narrative control, and the two scriptures I read were perfect. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. But when they say peace and safety, because here they are trying to do hostage negotiation, and then Bibi Milkowski, also known as Netanyahu, goes and and blows up pages and phones and does more damage to civilians than he does to Hezbollah. All right, and then and basically, and America now has pledged, Babylon, the land of the Chaldees, have now pledged to send more troops, and they've been drawn out. So as all this is going to play out, and all this has happened as the dollar's collapsing, the dollar's at almost zero. Lynette Zhang did a video on that almost a week ago, and showed you the receipts that the dollar's almost at 3 cents, and it'll probably be at zero after the election. But they can't let it go that way. You have to think about it. This Esau Edom can't eat that blame. He can't be the one. He can't take that. He's not going to eat that. He's not going to allow himself to be looked at as the reason why the dollar falls. He's going to create or do something else, and then America getting involved even further than they already are with this war in Western Asia. They can easily blame the collapse of the dollar on that. And on top of all these things that are happening in and around America, we just got the trucking companies are shutting down left and right. Truckers are shutting down. And now we know why, because they're not getting loads, because just found out that the American ports are all striking. So expect, all hell to break out any moment now, between now and this election. All right, or shortly thereafter. Okay, this is not looking good for them. It's looking great for us, because this is what we've been waiting on, and that's also going to bring, the unrest and civil unrest here in America. All these things are on the table. Ezekiel the 38th chapter, at 2nd Ezra the 15th to 16th chapter. So let's go to Ezekiel 38, and I'll just read the first portion of it. This is Ezekiel 38:1. It says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." And those are Edomites in that land. Remember, the Lord's wars with Edom, not Japhet. Okay? And Esau is Esau. The world was given, and the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Japhet isn't the wicked. Esau, Edom is. All right, and you got groups out there that try to make it as if there's two sets of white people. They're trying to say that the Israelis are the Edomites and the other white people are Japhet. No, that's not true. Japhet was melanated, very dark, just as dark as the average Negro. Right? They were melanated. Okay, they got lightened up and pushed out of their land. The Japhites are the people that you call Hawaiians and people from Fuji and the Fuji Islands and the Samoans and that whole. They were the Etruscans and the Minoans in the ancient world. That was them. All right, not so-called white people. Okay, so it's Edomites in that land. Remember, the Lord returns to a world ruled by Edom. Thus says the prophecy. Thus saith the Bible. All right, so it says, but the Lord is against the people in that land. He's against Vladimir Putin as well. He's not with them. He's using them for a purpose, because he's going to use them to destroy, what low-keys people calls the great Satan, but then he's going to turn around and annihilate them. All right, and they're going to try to fight the Lord. But it says, verse 3, "And thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine armies, and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords." And so that's their tanks, their guns, their missiles, their rockets, their drones. They're gonna come with all that. "Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them all, shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togomar, the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee." How it talks about the dragons of Arabia. How Benjamin Milkowski, also known as Netanyahu, basically brought the whole Muslim world against them, and now he's drawn the West into this, and at the same time that NATO is breaking up, at the same time that the BRICS is forming, and the dollar is dying, and most of American allies are going to side with the BRICS nations, because you got to remember, it's 195 nations in the UN. 159 of them are basically with BRICS. All right. Because 159, and out of that 159, those that aren't a part of BRICS have applied for it. So it's not looking good to be on the side of America and the Israelis. They don't have the money, the power, the resources to fight all these wars, All right, they don't, especially when you add among this amount of countries banding together against them, and then you add the might of the Chinese and the Russian army alone could annihilate the whole world. Now they got backing from all the other nations too. So and just expect chaos. As a matter of fact, let me play this other video.
Breaking news coming out. Contact goes high. Breaking news coming out today, September the 23rd, 2020.
I'm going to explain to you what you're seeing, all right? It's a soccer game, and there's like security or cops that come on the field, and they're beating someone up. They're trying to arrest someone. And one of the soccer players comes over and knees the cop in the head, and then the cops attack him. And then next thing you know, the two teams start attacking all the security and the cops. And then the stands come out, and basically you see cops getting beat down and stomped out, and running for their lives in all directions, right? So that second Ezra is that spirit of rebellion, that spirit of sedition. It's in the earth, just like the spirit of Isaiah 4:1 is in the earth. That's a lesson for another day, but here we go.
Os vermelhos, verdes, juntaram-se ao branco e a coisa ficou preta.
Yeah, one more time. There's the flying knee. They come after him. The other players come after them, and then next thing you know, it's a massive beatdown on the cops and the security. So, and that's just at the soccer game. So, it's coming, man. It's coming. Let's go to second Ezra. Yeah, that was some serious sedition. But you wait until there are guns going off and knives and bats and sticks, and it's gonna get pretty bad. And those times are upon us, man. And people think, they still think that everything's good, and it's not. It is not normal in America. It is not normal anywhere in the world at this right now. Though it means because you can go on a trip to Disney World or to the Bahamas, and it just okay. Matter of fact, you go away in these next couple months, and so you might get stuck. Might end up making your last stand wherever you go. But this is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. And it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So you're going to see Venezuelans actually doing what they're being accused of here in Chicago, and other people as well. People are going to be kicking in doors, taking food, taking resources, taking women. It's about to get a escape from New York. Doomsday out this son of a bitch. All right, so with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakaha Kwadash. Double honors into the apostles and elders. All right, and Abba Babal. Shalom.